Good morning. I'm the Reverend Jacqueline Sheldon from St. Paul's Episcopal Church at 220 Valley Street in Willimantic, and you know I'm delighted to be with you on this first Sunday of Advent. So before we get started, I want to give you a quick announcement. I want to invite you to join us at St. Paul's through the Advent season as we wait to celebrate the coming of Jesus Christ into our world on Christmas Day. We have a daily devotional that we're going to be using called Practicing Generosity with All Your Heart, Soul, Strength, and Mind. And we want to invite you to come and explore this journey with us by coming to our website at stpaulswillimantic.org. That's STPAULS, Willimantic.org. There you'll find the daily devotional right on the site, right on the front page, and you'll be able to click on it and read each day's message right there very conveniently on your computer. Also, right, we'll have this broadcast every week with the music connected to the book so that you can listen to the broadcast again if you want. You can listen to the piece of music and you can read your daily devotional. Then one more thing. On Tuesday nights, we have a spiritual reflection group, wonderful group of caring people together, and they're going to be studying the experience of this devotional with each other, and you are totally invited to come to that. So all you have to do is go to the website and click on the link and come and join us. That's every Tuesday at 5:30 from 5:30 to 6:30. And the website address again is stpaulswillimantic.org. And we'll love to see you there if you can make it. So that being said, let's just start with a prayer. Holy and gracious God, you have given us this season of Advent to learn to wait with love and anticipation for you and to understand all the different ways we can grow closer to you as we await your coming. Bless us this day as we listen to your word and open our souls that we may grow in your generosity to bring your love and graciousness in the world. Amen. Our reading this morning comes from Matthew's Gospel, the 24th chapter, verses 36 through 44, and I'm reading it to you from the Message. But the exact day and hour, no one knows that. Not even heaven's angels, not even the Son. Only the Father knows, Jesus said. He went on, the arrival of the Son of Man will take place in times like Noah's. Before the great flood, everyone was carrying on as usual, having a good time right up to the day Noah boarded the ark. They knew nothing until the flood hit and swept everything away. The Son of Man's arrival will be like that. 2 men will be working in the field, and one will be taken, the other left behind. 2 women will be grinding in the mill, and one will be taken, and one will be left behind. So stay awake, alert. You have no idea what day your master will show up. But you do know this. You know that if the homeowner had known what time of night the thief would break in, he would have been there with his dogs to prevent it. Be vigilant just like that. You have no idea when the Son of Man is going to show up. The Gospel of the Lord. For the next month during the Advent season, we will be exploring what it means to practice generosity with all our heart, soul, strength, and mind. In this first week, we'll be considering what it means to be grounded in God's generosity. When we ground our generosity in God's generosity, we discover that giving becomes not a burden, but a joy. During the 4 weeks before Christmas, there is a great deal of energy put into giving and receiving, right? We work to get just the right presents for those we love. Charities send out appeals for donations to support their work, and we often get asked what we want for Christmas. It's very easy to get distracted we can forget that God is the source of all generosity and start thinking that we as humans are actually the source of all generosity. This week, this is exactly what we'll be considering: the ways we forget that it is God's generosity towards us, in His generosity, that we find the wisdom, strength, and ability to be generous to ourselves and others in the very best life-giving ways. In our gospel reading this week, Jesus explains that no one knows the exact day or hour that He will return. Not the angels, not even Jesus Himself. He declares that only the Father knows, and He's not telling. Now think about this for a minute. If you know exactly when something's going to happen, you can miss what's going on around you because you're so focused on what you need to do to get ready for that day. You can easily lose your ability to be kind and generous to yourself and others as you stress out getting prepared for the moment. All we have to do really is think about this last week's Thanksgiving and all the Christmases we've ever experienced, and we know how much knowing the exact date and time can cause struggle and distraction from what is truly important in our everyday lives. Jesus knows it is very easy to get distracted from what is truly important in our lives: loving God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving others as ourselves. I don't know. I just don't know. The writer of Matthew's Gospel was talking to people who were restless because Jesus hadn't come back yet. They were getting ready to give up trusting. Scholars estimate that it was written between 50 and 80 years after Jesus had died. They were so sure He was coming back soon. Now, over 2,000 years later, He still hasn't returned for the big moment. It's not to say that He never will, it's just that we don't know. But the beautiful thing is that although we haven't reached the big moment, it doesn't mean Jesus doesn't come to us personally as we seek to follow His way in love all the time. This brings me to this idea. Jesus describes Himself in this story as coming like a thief. Shocking, but effective. He says He wants us to pay attention. So much rests on being ready, on knowing what really matters as you go about your days. It is the difference between a life in a world lived that is good and true and a life lived in a world that fritters away its days. I'm in the middle of retraining my dogs. They've got a really bad habit, and I just learned about this technique of training that I'm finding is really working. You see, what they do is every single time somebody comes to my door, they go berserk, the two of them, and they start barking and barking. And when the person comes in the door, they bark at the person and jump on them, and it's insane. And I certainly don't want this, but this is what they think their job is. And I've been doing all kinds of things, yelling at them, grabbing them by the collars, throwing them in another room, everything I can think of to get them to stop doing this, and nothing seems to work. And then I heard about this technique. It's called getting your dog to watch. And the idea is what you train the dog to do is to look at you when you say to the dog, watch. And then, because when the dog looks at you, when you say watch, it breaks their concentration on what they're doing, and then you can give them another job. So it's beginning to work. I mean, I'm surely we're not perfect yet, but I've taught them. So when I go, watch, they turn and they look right at me. Their heads turn and look at me, and they break the cycle of what they're about to do. And I say, go do your job, get in your bed. So I'm changing their job from running and jumping and barking to, oh, we're supposed to go over and get in our beds while the people come in the door, relax, and then greet the people. Honestly, I think it's working. But the point I want to make about that story is that's like Jesus retraining us and teaching us. What the point is for us to watch, to look at Jesus's face, so that when the moments come when we're all distracted and we're thinking it's all about us and we're getting all aggravated and tense, what we need to do is remember, watch, look at God, look at Jesus, and remember how loved we are. And let go and do our job, which is to relax, trust in the love of God, and do what's best in the moment. So today, this week, I invite you to come and study what it means to understand being grounded in God's generous love for you. And I invite you to enjoy this song about remembering. Amen.